In this tutorial, we're going to discuss about RDM and how to use the login RDM. First, some brief information of ONM. ONM, Open Message Model, is a collection of message heads and data containers. The data containers can be a combination of various ways to model data that range from simple primitive types to complex multiple-level hierarchical data. The RDM is a domain message model based on ONM messages that is typically provided or consumed by trap components such as Reuters Data Feed Direct or ADS. RDM, Reuters Data Domain, contains different categories domains. The initialization phase domains, sometimes also called administrative domains, are login, directory, and dictionary. Login RDM is the very first message requested to be sent to the server in order to continue to request for data. Level 1 domain, also called market price domain, is for single price point, such as trade or quote information. Level 2 data include market by order, market by price, and market maker. We will discuss details of Level 1 and Level 2 data in future tutorials. For detailed information of RDM, please see the RFA Developer's Guide and RDM User's Guide that come with the developer kit. A consumer must be successfully authenticated before it can request any information from the server. The exact credentials we need to pass through the server depends on the type of server we are connecting to. In most general cases, a consumer is connected to a component of Thomson Reuters Enterprise Platform or TRAP, called ADS, the Advanced Distribution Server. ADS uses another component of TRAP called DAX, Data Access Control System, to authenticate a user. There are three values that can be passed to authenticate a user. They are username, application ID, and position. The credentials are passed to the server by means of login RDM request message. Now we will see how the login RDM is implemented in our RFA application. We first added two utility classes in generic ONM parser.java and example utility.java. Next, we add a new class, login client, in the login client.java that implement RFA client class. Login client contains the method encode login request. It sets the message type to request, the message model type to login, and the username as attribute info. It then encodes the message using an encoding utility class. Main application calls login client send request method when it's ready to send login request. Send request then calls encode login request to encode the login message. It then creates an interest specification which defines the level of login information we want to subscribe. Next, register the interest specification to the consumer event source. Process event will be invoked by the RFA dispatcher to process events from ONM consumer and handle the response messages. In process event, we first check message model type to make sure it is login. We then check to see if the string state is open and the data status of the response message is OK. It indicates the server has authenticated the login ID and calls the process login method in the main application. We now go back to the main application startconsumer.java. We need to import more RFA classes in startconsumer.java to handle events and ONM messages. In the init method, create a login client instance and an ONM consumer event source. We then create a connection interest specification and register the login client to the ONN event source for the login client object to receive login response events. Finally, send a login request. We've also added the process login method in starter consumer class to take proper actions after login was successful. Next, we added the position, application, and the user command line arguments in the add command line options method. Position is the IP address of the host such as 192.68.1.1/net. Application is stack's application ID. The value can be 256 to 65,535. User is the DAX user ID. Before running application, let's take a look at the run consumer batch file. We added the user argument in the Java execution statement of the run consumer.bat file and provide the proper DAX user ID. We did not specify the position and the application variables, so the application will use the default values. The result should display details of login response messages and confirm login was successful. That concludes this tutorial. Thank you.